What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the FUTBIN pod. This will be, hopefully, fingers crossed, the last episode without the gaffer, without the assistant manager stepping in, Jason Tyndall and his coaching staff. But we are here for another episode. Myself, Richard Buckley, are going to be guiding you through what plans to be a very exciting episode. As always, with my number 6 next to me, my navigator, Matt Foot Trading. How are we, Matt?
Very well, mate. Yeah, Nabby's back for another episode. It's always tricky. We were just chatting quickly before the recording started. These kind of sort of mid, sort of season episodes. We're still waiting for database. So, yeah, we've still got a little bit to talk about with the icon reveals. So it'll be good.
And we've also got a very special guest with us, a content creator, a FC presenter, analyst, commentator, interviewer, and an official Manchester City creator as well, and a good friend of mine. Case, welcome to the podcast. And also, I'm going to break the fourth wall. Thank you for staying up, because it is very late for you right now over in the States. We are recording at 9:30 a.m. in the UK, so it is an early morning or a late night for you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. It is currently 3:30 a.m. and so I slept a couple hours. I'll probably go back to sleep afterwards, but no, I'm happy to be here. It's very much worth it.
A hero, an absolute hero for the podcast. Matt, last episode we spent a decent chunk of it talking about icons and ratings and our predictions and where we think certain players will land. About 3 hours after we finished recording, EA came out and released the entire ratings. So what we're going to do in the first portion of this episode is talk you through the ratings that came out, our thoughts on them, what we think to the ratings. Are they harsh? Are they what they should be? Any sleeper hits of those ratings that we think, and we'll just give a very quick opinion on them. So what I'm going to do is hopefully share my screen and we can talk through them very quickly. This is the first sort of set that we got officially released. These are the quote-unquote lesser of the two sets of icons. What do we think, Matt? Were we in the right ballpark?
I think so. Looking at Totti, I think both you and Nep went a little bit lower on the pace, but I didn't think EA would give a 68 pace striker at the start of the game as a pre-order reward. That's going straight into an SBC, isn't it, if you hit that? So, yeah, let's not beat around the bush. These are the more fodder icons, I think. If you're getting Jones out of your pre-order icon, you're probably not going to be too over the moon with that. But no, there are some good ones in there. I think Chiellini looks really solid at the start of the game. Totti as well.
I think for me, Chiellini was the one as an upgraded icon. Last year I got Jamie Carragher, and he did a job for me for a little while. I think once this Chiellini gets upgraded, if EA are correct with what they're saying and stats are going to be sort of more important, and also the power curve is going to be less, an 80 pace, 90 defending, 90 physical centre-back could and should be viable for a decent amount of time. Let's jump on over to the second set of icons that came out and the ratings of them. So these were the players that probably, Case, everyone is wanting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I obviously am super excited about one woman on this list amongst the rest of them, but Alex Morgan, for me, she is one of the people in the world that has pushed the women's game so much. And I know that I'm super biased as an American, but she is one of the greatest footballers of all time. She's one of the GOATs, as you can see on her 91 rated icon, which in my opinion, I actually predicted her to be 91 when I was doing some predictions earlier. But we have her signature celebration, and I have some show and tell because EA did send me a nice little teacup with her signature celebration on it. So that's how you do it in the game. But unfortunately for all the England fans out there, she was celebrating on you guys. But no, she's done so much for the women's game, and I'm excited. She's got Finesse Plus as well. And so I think that she's just going to be really good. Honestly, if I pack her in my pre-order pack, I'll be very excited amongst all the other fantastic players that are on this list here. But yeah, her specifically, super excited for.
We can see, obviously, Zlatan, the official stats, 94 shooting, went with Power Shot Plus as well. From what I can see from the icons that came out, none of the icons were given any of the new playstyles, which I thought was quite interesting. I thought at least one of them would have to sort of tease it. It makes me think that they're going to be super protective over those playstyles. Maybe those playstyles are going to be the better playstyles that are coming out. R9 at 92 for the champion upgrade. We were talking last week about the base icons that we've not seen anything from yet, Matt. For the most part, do you think the rule will be base icons are all going to be higher than the champion, or do you think we might have a bit of flexibility? Because, I mean, we were talking about Henri. Henri's base last year was 91, if I'm not mistaken. The champion's 91, so is Henri getting an upgrade this year on his base icon?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think people will always look back to how the heroes were last year. We had the pre-order hero, the upgraded one in November, and they were all higher, I believe, than the base. I don't think that'll be the case this year with the icons. Obviously, yeah, R9 we expect to be around that 94. If Henri stays the same, it'll be a 91. Could we see Zlatan and Iniesta as a 93 base icon? I think it feels a little bit too high to me. So yeah, I think it'll be a slightly different sort of rule set this year for icons. I think it will be very much on a player by player basis. I was going to ask you, Case, in terms of that Alex Morgan compared to Mia Hamm, same rating. What are we saying?
That's a tough one because they're very different types of players in terms of where they've progressed in the women's game. In my opinion, I think Alex should be higher rated than Mia Hamm. She's just because Mia Hamm didn't even compete in a traditional league because at the time it didn't really exist. And so stats alone, we should see more from Alex Morgan. But again, we can't discredit everything that Mia Hamm did at the time when she was playing. So in my opinion, Alex should be higher rated, but that would also be sad because that would mean a downgrade for Mia Hamm. So curious how that one lands.
The one icon that obviously we all want Zlatan, we all want R9, but the one that I think I would be most happy with that is realistic, because I'm not going to get a Zlatan or R9 or Henri. And Oliver Kahn, I think is a really nice icon. I think you always get that sort of debate over a goalkeeper, like who do you want in goal? If you just got that position firmly locked off until probably team of the year, realistically, with icon chemistry as well, I think that's a real nice pickup. His stats wise, he looks very good as well. Great reflexes, really, really good diving, handling. The playstyle plus there, I was trying to see it, but it's a little bit blurry on there. But I'm in on Oliver Kahn. I think that for me is one that I would be pleasantly happy with.
Yeah, I think so. I'd agree with that.
Obviously, Alex Morgan came out, Case. The sort of the stats that she ended with last year, where she got, was it a flashback item? I think, right around sort of the middle of the year. Very quite similar to the icon that she's been given. How do you think she will sort of be felt about in game? Did you see a price being super expensive like Mia Hamm was? I mean, Mia Hamm for the most, what was she, 3-4 million coins for forever? She was loved by the pros. A lot of people were using her. Do you think Alex Morgan is going to fit into that sort of that mold? Do you see her being super usable?
I think so. I think specifically because of her playstyle plus, I think having finesse is going to be super important, especially in the beginning of the year. And I think as the year goes on, maybe we'll see a little bit less. But I think in the beginning, people will be very, very lucky to get her in their team. And so I think she will be expensive. If we're comparing other strikers in the game, other icons specifically, obviously she's not the best. But I do think that she'll be very, very usable specifically for her playstyle.
Let's chat a little bit about FC26. Obviously, there's been a lot of news coming out. We saw a teaser trailer yesterday, the last day of the pre-order bonus, with Mr. Angry Ginge in it. Matt, what's the the reveal of news and the way that EA are doing it just seems a little bit perplexing to me. Does it not? Like it feels very, very sporadic. As an expert in the field, how would you sort of look at this?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I feel like it was more so for the Henri celebration, if anything, because that was the big sort of takeaway, wasn't it? So I can just imagine some of the rage bait that's going to be going on there with that 91st minute winner in champs, and a little. I won't even attempt to do it. I'll just make a mockery. There you go, Rich. You're doing a fine job. So yeah, maybe that was the reasoning behind the big marketing reveal. But
we also, I mean, as of recording today, the pre-order bonus is officially over. We are around 3.5 weeks until early access. We're yet to receive really anything in terms of ratings. I talked about it last week, and I'm going to talk about it again. We've not seen a sniff of a hero. If you are a hero enjoyer, Matt, is it time to start getting a little bit worried that we're not going to get any new heroes this year?
Are there any hero enjoyers specifically? Let us know in the comments.
I like a David Ginola.
Exactly. But no, I think it. I alluded to it on the pod last week. I think it might just be that they've waited until that pre-order bonus expires before revealing any new heroes. So it could be today, Rich, as is sort of the way we record these pods, that all of the news comes out the day after we record. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, the curse of the podcast. We record, and then just as we are wrapping up for the day, EA drop. It may as well just release the game. Honestly, like everything comes out. Okay, so talking about FC26. Obviously, you're a content creator. You play a lot of the game. You play a lot of the menus. You play a lot of gameplay as well, both on stream and off. What do you want from FC26 in terms of a user yourself? Like, what sort of user are you? If people haven't seen a lot of you before who are watching this, and like, what do you want as an experience out of FC26? I asked a similar question to Shori, so I'll ask it to you as well.
See, mine's an interesting one because I feel like I live in two very different FC worlds. Obviously, I'm a content creator, and so I love a menu grind. I get 8 or 9 wins in the weekend league, so I'm definitely nowhere near the top tier of players. But I also work on the FC Pro broadcast, and so I see what the pros want. I see what the top tier players want. And so when I approach it gameplay-wise, I think I want different things than that group of people, but I also understand the needs of that group. So if we look at things like time finishing or that sort of thing, I have a different opinion on it, but I could see every single side of it. I'm just excited that it does seem like the focus on gameplay is there this year. It does seem like the conversations that are being had within every single community are being listened to. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I mean, only time will tell with how gameplay is going to turn out. And so I'm excited to actually get my hands on the finished product. But in terms of gameplay in Foot, I'm excited about the different modes. I'm excited about Rivals Grind specifically. I know that's a very random thing to be excited about, but this year I didn't play a lot of Rivals. I wasn't super excited for it, but going into next year with the little added bonuses during Rivals to do that, and also the need to do it in order to get into champs every single weekend, I'm excited to actually have that grind back. So that's a very random one that I'm excited about. And then a couple skill moves I'm excited about as well. So I think that I'm not going to call myself a casual because anyone that plays the game every single day, I don't consider it casual. Yeah. But I'm excited for both menus and gameplay from every single perspective.
There was, speaking of FC26, and not to be a negative, because I think we are very positive. We try and be very positive on these podcasts, but we also need to talk about news and things that come out. There was an article that was released on the 22nd of August. I don't know if you caught this, from Kicker, which is a German publication. When I was at the Virtual Bundesliga, I actually did a piece for Kicker, and it was coming from Gamescom. It was an interview by Sam Rivera, who's one of the lead gameplay devs. And he's talking a lot about the FC26 experience, and we've not added a new game mode this year. We're refining it. We're improving it across the board. There was one quote that stood out for me, and I don't know if this has been taken out of context, I don't know, but I'm going to say it because I think it's important. It says, we want to balance the gameplay experience well throughout the year. FC26 isn't simply finished. We're focusing on FC27. Players can expect a number of further improvements, says Rivera. This is certainly also to avoid having to deploy another massive emergency patch around Christmas and New Year. That sent shivers down my spine when I read it, Matt. Have we got a reason to be a little bit worried?
I wouldn't say so. I think, we're very, very used to, as FC players, soft fixes, these live tuning updates, big patches throughout the year. I wouldn't read too much into that. I think, if I'm being honest, Rich, you've got two different gameplay styles this year with the competitive and the authentic. It is unrealistic to expect that both gameplay styles will be fully finished. He could be referring to the authentic gameplay for career mode. It could be the competitive for Ultimate Team. We didn't get the context around that. So, honestly, I wouldn't make any assumptions and judgments until we get our hands on the game on the 19th. If you've pre-ordered and have the Ultimate Edition, that is. We would expect updates regardless throughout the year. Hopefully there won't be the large-scale updates that we had last Christmas, because that was a complete game changer. But to be honest, I think it's kind of the things that you see from game developers nowadays, isn't it? Like they always say they're building for a year in advance. We've seen similar things with sort of Football Manager, quite a big story there. But I won't get too much into it.
I think when we are, and we've seen it a little bit behind the scenes with people from EA case, when EA are constantly working a year ahead, some things do have to sort of get pushed. And I mean, obviously we can't really talk about the beta too much, but I've had people out over in Vancouver who have played and being amongst it, and the genuine and the people who were over there, I trust quite heavily with their opinion, and everyone that we've spoken to, Casey, has said this is a very, very good product.
Yeah, I think everyone that I have had a conversation with is actually excited about everything that has changed this year. I do think that obviously there's so much chatter and there's different opinions on what people want from the game. Not everyone plays Ultimate Team. And so we do have very differing opinions, but I think the overall sentiment in terms of what we want, a lot of it has been updated. A lot of it has been changed. And so I'm actually very, very excited about the gameplay this year, because everyone that I heard that went to Vancouver is actually very excited. And that is not always the case of what we see going into next year's game. And so I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I genuinely have a lot of hope for FC26, and I'm very much excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that you won't have a lot of hope about is Manchester City. You were recently there. We will talk a lot more about FC26 and what's happening in future episodes, but I think, to be honest, I don't know if there's much else on FC26 really that's happening at the moment. FC25 has very, very nearly closed the doors for this cycle. I think we're seeing a lot of people sort of enjoying their summer, and with FC26 right around the corner, we've got fingers crossed that the next episode that you see of this podcast, we should have some sort of ratings, maybe a database potentially as well, with the release very, very close to coming out. The last thing I will add on that, Matt, before we get into talking Manchester City, Premier League, and Casey's thoughts on the Sky Blues, just a general overview of people on what dates maybe to sort of look out for. Obviously, we've got FC26 Early Access dropping on the 19th. That's official. The week after is the global launch. If people were to sort of pencil things in the calendar, what dates from previous years in history can we look towards, and where should people be turning attention to?
Yeah, so we kind of have to go back from the 19th. So the thing before that you'd expect on the 17th, the Wednesday, that's probably going to be the web app release day. So when you can log on, open your starter packs, start trading, building your first squad. Database reveal day, the full database, usually it's not that far sort of before that. So potentially sort of the 12th, Friday the 12th, or even Monday the 15th of September for full database. But I would expect that we start getting some ratings, most likely things like new heroes, ambassador ratings, maybe some of those partner clubs like Manchester City, potentially as early as next week. You know, we're into September from next week. We would probably start the big sort of ratings reveal event where we start getting, you know, like the top 10 attackers, top 10 quickest players, probably from the 8th, I would say, of September. So basically, I would say from next week, we're going to start getting some official rating reveals.
Okay, there you go. So things to get excited for next
Don't
week.
Hold me to that.
Matt Foot's official ratings are coming next week. Quote him, and you can fire away at the social media if he's wrong. Let's talk Man City. Man City. You were at the game, Case. You were watching Manchester City against Spurs. It was the early kickoff, and it ruined a lot of people's weekends. Not only on FPL, if you had Haaland in there or other Manchester City players, but Tottenham Hotspur went to the Etihad, kept a clean sheet, and won 2-0. Being in the stadium, being there, what was it like, Case?
Yeah, imagine flying 8 hours across the world to not see your club score a goal. It was not enjoyable for Manchester City fans. I think going into the season, obviously we beat Wolves first game. It felt great. We were like, this is our year. We're back. Obviously, we had a rough year last year. And then to get rudely awakened by Spurs. I don't know what it is about Spurs, but they just got something special against us. Not normally at home, but I think that it's the awakening that the team potentially needed. It's not to say that there's not players that we have signed recently that I'm honestly very, very excited about. But one player specifically, it's funny. I was actually there with 2 Spurs fans, and so I was hyping up Trafford like crazy, talking about how great he was, so excited for the season. I think the goalkeeper debate is super interesting this year. And then, of course, that went downhill very, very quickly. But yeah, it was a very, very rough day at the Etihad for all of us Man City fans that I would like to forget.
It was a classic Sunday League hospital pass. Like, if you pass that into a central midfielder at Sunday League, you are getting expletively shouted at. I watched the game. It was a very, very poor Manchester City performance, Matt. I will bring it back to sort of FC26, very sort of Manchester City based very quickly. We're not going to do ratings predictions, but just as a whole, not until later in the episode, just as a whole, Man City, after last year's performance, their standards, you would imagine that for the most part, a lot of those players are going to get downgraded.
Yeah, I think so. I think, the main one in there, Haaland, is he going to stay 91? Probably not. I think there's actually going to be quite a lot of players around that sort of 90 rating. I don't think it's really been a sort of a big standout this year. But yeah, Ederson, if he stays, if he goes, it's probably a downgrade coming there. Rodri out for a lot of the season. No De Bruyne now. So, yeah, it's going to be quite a downgrade heavy season, I reckon, for Man City. But again, some of those new players coming in. Reinders maybe fills that gap of someone that does get an upgrade for their former AC Milan.
It would be something, wouldn't it? If we talked last week about Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United. The highest rated player in Manchester is Bruno.
Let's not go too far.
You talked about the goalkeepers there for a second. Let's chat about them, because you've got obviously James Trafford, outstanding last year. I think he conceded 16 goals for Burnley, which is just a ridiculous feat. You've got the proven Ederson, who is, for me, more of a specialist goalkeeper. If you're playing that way, you have to have someone who can play like that, and Ederson fits that role perfectly. And then you've got this conversation over Donnarumma, where Manchester City are interested, Manchester United need a goalkeeper. You'd probably look at Chelsea as well. I think Donnarumma probably makes them a potential title-winning team if they can get it all together in the attacking third with an outstanding goalkeeper. What's your thoughts on it, Case, as a City fan with the goalkeeper discussion? Obviously, Ederson dropped, Trafford in, Trafford makes mistakes. Is it as simple as Ederson comes back now, or does that ruin Trafford's projection and potential career?
I mean, it's a difficult one because if you would have asked me again before the Spurs game, I was all for Trafford. I'm hoping that was a fluke, genuinely. I hope that was a one-time mistake. But again, that is such a massive mistake that you can't really ignore. But it's not to say Ederson is not a top-tier goalkeeper. I still trust Ederson. We saw a downfall of him last season a little bit, but I do think that he still has plenty of years left to come in his career, and I still think he could be great. In my opinion, I don't think we need Donnarumma. Obviously he's a top tier keeper, but I would still be happy with Ederson and Trafford and just switching them out, in terms of how they're feeling. And so I still have trust in both keepers that we currently have. And you know what? United could have him. That's my opinion on it.
The best keeper you've had over the last 2 years were Ortega. I think that for me says everything. You talk about those new signings. Obviously the one that's really hit the ground running. He was quite poor at the weekend, but Reinders, superb against Wolves, shows like there's a real player there. You brought in a lot of new players. I don't think we know Guardiola. He's not just going to play them all at once and things are going to happen. I thought Shirky was really poor on Saturday as well. Didn't really get into the game. You looked much better when Bernardo Silva came on, in my opinion. Out of those players, like, say, the new signings, will go Trafford, Aït-Nouri, Reinders, and Shirky. Rate them from 1 to 4 on who you think is going to be best. 1 being, obviously, number 1, 4 being the worst.
I'm going to go Rainier's 1. We'll go Aït-Nouri 2, Cherki 3, Trafford 4.
Okay.
Do you agree?
See, I don't know. What do you think, Matt? I mean, Shirky's a weird one because it was cheap fee. No one really wanted him, it seems. Like, is there more there potentially? I just don't know. I don't. As a proud Barnsley fan, I'm used to seeing someone work hard on that pitch, and it just doesn't. He doesn't look like that player.
Yeah, Premier League's not a league where you can have sort of bystanders.
No.
So, especially in that City team, you need people that are going to recover the ball quickly so you can, dominate the ball with possession. I think he's got a bit about him, but still, adapting to a new league. I wouldn't put him above Reinders, and I probably wouldn't put him above Aït-Nouri just because, Aït-Nouri proven in the Premier League and Reinders really hit the ground running.
Do you not think though, like if you look back over time, I think City fans were saying this is going to be the next iteration of X former player. Like, I don't think they've had a player like that. Probably, I mean, even Mahrez worked hard at times to get the ball back. Like, he just doesn't. It doesn't look like to me a player that's going to put in the hard yards, and I just don't think that flies in that team. Yeah,
he's still like. I'd refer to him as like a raw player. You can tell the technical ability and the talent is there, but work ethic, that sort of, putting in the hard yards, as you say, I think that needs to be instilled into him, and I think that will come with time. It only takes one game with Pep Guardiola for him to not put the work in, and he's getting an absolute hairdryer treatment in the dressing room, isn't he? So, I think in 6 months we could turn around and he could be one of the stars of the
best player in the league.
That's what City does. So
let's talk about Phil Foden as well. Case, obviously you were there. What was the general sort of? You sometimes get a what's the word? Like an atmosphere or a feeling from the crowd about certain players. Whenever Rodri goes out to warm up, he gets cheered. When Rodri comes on, it's like you've just scored a goal. What is it with Phil Foden? Like, fans seem to be, for the most part, still very much on board with him, but it seems like there's more confusion over like what's actually happening there. He was the best player in the league 2 years ago. when you won the league, and then for the last season and a half, he's barely featured.
Yeah, I think as City fans, obviously, when he came on and later in the second half, we were all super, super excited. Also because we were losing, so we were like, sometimes Phil is that little extra spark that we need in a second half to come on. It's a difficult one, though, because with Pep, we're constantly rotating that position so much, and we have so many different options as long as people are healthy. And so with Phil, it's difficult because if you think about him, he should be a starter in theory, but if we look at his performance last season, he wasn't up to par with all the starters that we have. He's also competing with big names. I'm a big Doku fan as well, and so it's a tough one. Like, Phil should be on the pitch, but again, like, if we look at him going into next season, I'm worried that he's going to get a downgrade just because we didn't see too much from him. But again, as City fans, like, we still love Phil. There's still a lot of trust in Phil, and so I'm hoping that he comes back this year. I hope he doesn't just, like, fizzle out.
If you're Phil Foden, though, World Cup year,
have to play,
out of favour at the City team, would you not be pushing for a move? You know, you think at that position for an England team, Cole Palmer, Jude Bellingham, Eze now, if he starts performing, you know, there's competition there.
There's a lot of teams that would want him. I can tell you that.
I'll take him at Charlton in a heartbeat.
I was actually trying to think, like, I've never even thought of that. Obviously, he's always been City, so I think him going elsewhere would be interesting. It would have to be a loan, in my opinion, just to get minutes, just for him to
weird,
play.
Doesn't it? Phil Foden going on loan.
But
I hate it.
If he's not going to play,
yeah.
Like, we're seeing a lot of movement at the moment with Kobbie Mainoo. Speaking of Manchester and sort of young English players wanting to get minutes in. I think Brighton is where he's sort of, that's been talked about as a loan just to get games. It clearly he's not fancied at Manchester United. And I think if you are Mainoo or his people around him, you have to play. It's a huge World Cup. It's probably the biggest World Cup from an England perspective since, I don't even know, maybe like we were in 2022, but no one really thought we were going to go out there and win it in Qatar. I think this one, especially after the Euros and Tuchel coming in, new manager, like, if we can get it moving, we'll be going into that World Cup in the States next year as probably one of the front three favourites behind. I'm already believing. I'm believing.
It's coming on.
We'll be one of the top three favourites, you would think, behind maybe Argentina, Spain, the way that they keep the ball. But it's a great segue talking about World Cup. Obviously, you're in the States, Case. Has World Cup fever hit North America yet? And sort of what's the atmosphere like over there at the moment?
It's a weird one. I don't think it's hit yet. I think that people here still feel like it's very far away. We're also coming off of Club World Cup here in the States. And so I'm waiting for that shoe to drop because we're getting very, very close. I'm hoping that as Americans, we kind of wake up and understand that it's happening. We just dropped our friendly squad for the U.S. men's national team. It was a very confusing one. I don't know how much you guys are into the U.S. men's national team, but I'm curious how it's going to go. I don't have the same hope that you guys have going into the World Cup, but I am excited to have it here in my home country. I'm trying to go to as many matches as humanly possible. But yeah, it's going to be good.
Two very quick questions. Obviously, you talked about the Club World Cup. It wasn't received very well in the UK. I think that's for you could say that for certain. Channel 5 got one game a week, I think it was, or like they were the only broadcasters to show it outside of the Zone, who were obviously covering it. The only reason I watched, being completely honest, was to listen to Brandon commentating some games. Like, I had no real appetite to watch the Club World Cup. What was it actually, again, what was it received like in the States? Because we saw some of those games, especially with the lesser known teams, I think that's fair to say, with like 50 people in the crowd. What was it like?
It's a weird one because soccer football in the US is perceived very differently. There was a lot of confused Americans that didn't really understand what was going on, but wanted to go see some of these big names playing. I think it was nice because clubs brought their entire roster, because previously with like the ICCs or random friendlies that we'd have, the summer series, a lot of clubs don't bring their entire roster, so some of these big names don't get to play. But with Club World Cup, we did get to see a lot of those players. So from that perspective, I think fans were excited, but they were also like, how does this fit in the overall ecosystem of soccer? How does this all work? I think they were just there for the vibes, to be honest, because I think for a lot of Americans, the soccer knowledge doesn't go as deep. But again, there was a lot of avid fans there as well. I went to the game in Atlanta. I really, really did enjoy it. Again, Man City crashed out of that one, unfortunately. But I think
maybe
that
you're the bad luck.
Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe it's me. Is there a curse? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, looking from the outside in, it looked like the perfect dress rehearsal for the World Cup next year. I think that's what it was in reality. But it's going to be great when we finish the World Cup in July and England have won it. And Thomas Tuchel has got a statue outside Wembley, and it's all coming home. I want to ask you a couple of quick-fire questions, Case. They are quick-fire, but then I'll give you time afterwards to elaborate, shall we say, on the point. So firstly, I've got, who do you think is going to win the Premier League this year?
Manchester City. I know. Okay, you can't make that face,
Are
Richard.
you contractually obliged to say that?
No, I genuinely believe it. I think that we had the rude awakening against Spurs that we needed. It's going to light the fire, and we're going to come back this year. I genuinely am so excited about our signings this year. And then once we get back completely healthy, obviously Josko is currently injured. I think our back line needs a little bit of work as well. But I actually think we could do it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a fiery season, but I actually think Man City can win it, bias aside.
Matt, from a non-biased Charlton perspective?
I think it's going to be between Liverpool, City and Arsenal. I think Liverpool, they're already showing that grit to win games at the death. You know, Rio and Goa at the weekend or on Monday.
99th minute, yeah.
Oh, what a story. But yeah, I think at the moment I would say Liverpool. I'm not even going to put Spurs in there. I know, yeah, it just can't happen. I'm sorry, Spurs fans. You know, might get top 6 if they keep going the way they are. Thomas Frank doing a great job at the moment, but
they just don't have a big enough squad. Like, I think if they had I think Spurs have got an 11 that is on its day as good as an 11 you could put out. Other than the only thing Spurs lack, and this is just fact, since Son left, who was this for a little bit, since Kane left, who was this, they then replaced Modric when he left. They don't have a superstar in the team. They've got a good squad, and they've got a very good 11. Their best player on accolade is probably Romero.
Yeah.
From what he's done. I mean, he went and won a World Cup. He is he's captain now as well. He is their best player when you look at just the actual portfolio. You can't win a Premier League if that's the best player. I just think that's just how it goes. Unless you're Leicester City, and it's just a miracle. So yeah, I would probably go. I think Arsenal. To be honest, I think Arsenal will do it this year. I think what they've brought in, they seem to be making good signings as well. I actually think that Madueke signing is going to be really solid, just for some cover for Saka. So I'm going to go Arsenal. FA Cup winner.
It's just got Arsenal written all over it, isn't it? It's just the typical Arteta thing to go and win an FA Cup, bottle everything else, and they've had a great season. I would go Arsenal.
Obviously, last year Crystal Palace won the FA Cup.
We should have won it. No, we should have won it. That was our one time to get a trophy. I'll be honest. If we win the league, I don't think we win FA Cup, and so I will second Arsenal on that one. I feel like that's maybe the one that they can win this year.
I'm going to go a little bit outfield.
Barnsley.
Not Barnsley. After last year and Palace winning it, I think it's going to give a lot of teams a lot of hope and belief that they can go and win it. So you know what? I'm going to say Brighton.
Ooh.
I fancy Brighton to win the FA Cup this year. They got close. I think they got to a semi-final, was it? Or they got to a Carabao Cup semi-final a few years ago, lost to Man United on penalties at Wembley. So I'm going to go Brighton. I think Brighton's year for an FA Cup.
You've heard it here first.
Yeah, get it on. Don't get it on. Who's going to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League?
Haaland.
Yeah.
It's Haaland. It's got to be Haaland. Even if we don't win the league, I still think it's Haaland. I think he's a safe bet.
Haaland, Matt?
I'd love to go left field and say like an Ekitike or
Gyökeres.
Maybe Gyökeres, but no, it's gonna be Erling.
Erling Haaland. I mean, Richarlison's right up there, but I will.
How far the Premier League has fallen if Richarlison is the top goal scorer.
It's a World Cup year. He turns into R9.
It's true.
We all know this. No, I think Haaland. And finally, two more on this this mini topic. Who is going to win the Champions League? Will it be an English team?
I don't think it'll be an English team. I'm going to go Bayern.
Okay. Harry Kane getting his hands on the Champions League?
I feel like it.
Wow.
I feel like it could happen. I don't know. I just got a feeling about Bayern. Luis Diaz could do something special.
Good signing.
Point to prove.
Case?
I'm torn. I think it's either PSG or City. I think, you know what? I'm going to speak from the heart here. Completely unbiased. I'm going to shock you guys. I think it's going to be Man City.
You can't say... So City's doing the treble? They're doing the treble?
Yes.
Okay. I think Barcelona. I think, talk about points to prove, I think Marcus Rashford. This is it.
You think Marcus Rashford is going to lead Barcelona to a Champions League?
I do.
Wild.
Imagine saying that like 3 years ago.
I think Barca, I mean, last year they were outstanding. A lot of people said they were the best team up to them getting knocked out, and then PSG just sort of took over and were incredible, probably February onwards. But I think Barcelona, they are maturing. Every year Barcelona get 1 year older, they're going to get better because that young talent is just going to continue to not even like just sort of get better on the ball and get better as players, but get smarter and get football savvier. And I think they maybe not a 2009 Messi Guardiola period of dominance, but I think with Yamal there, I think they will go through a period of just dominating football again. And I think this is the start of it. I think Barcelona will win the Champions League this year. That's my prediction. That's my maybe hot take. I mean, Brighton winning the FA Cup is probably a bit hotter. And who's going to get relegated from the Premier League?
Oof.
So I don't think it's as simple as saying the three teams that came up.
No. I'll put West Ham down there. I think if either Bowen or Paqueta either get injured or sold, which there's some rumours around, I think both of them, aren't there, at the moment?
Yeah.
I think they're in real trouble. I wouldn't say Sunderland. They look too good. They've made some good signings. Burnley.
I think Burnley.
They've been all right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right, Rich. It's not a sort of an easy one to call, but yeah, West Ham for me at the moment.
West Ham's just a guarantee, you think?
I think they could be at the moment. I would say so. Yeah.
Case?
I'll go Burnley. I know you said that they're all right, but I don't see them keeping that consistency throughout the rest of the year. I see them going down.
I'll give you all three. It's going to be Burnley.
Yep.
It's going to be Wolves.
Yeah.
Because Struan Larsson's going to leave.
Yeah.
I think West Ham stay up through Big Sam. I think Big Sam Allardyce will get brought in just right around Boxing Day, and I think he'll keep him up. Part of me thinks
Leeds?
I think Brentford.
Do you think Leeds?
Maybe.
Brentford? Okay.
I think Brentford. Obviously, it's very hard to sell. I think I read a stat, and it could be incorrect, but it is something ridiculous like this. Like over 50% of the goals that they scored last year, if Visser and Boemo leave, disappear, and they've not replaced that.
No.
You can't lose those goals. Every year we say, to stay up in the Premier League, you've got to have someone who scores goals. You have to have someone who's putting up at least 7 or 8 Premier League goals. If they lose that, they don't fill that gap unless they go out and spend money and buy someone. And I think that is going to be detrimental to them. You lose your best manager probably you've ever had in the club's history. You lose 2 of the best players you've had over the last 5 years. I think you're in a lot of trouble if you're Brentford. So I'm going to go say Brentford to go down as well, which feels harsh, but that would be Leeds and Sunderland both staying up, which I think at the start of the season, Matt, you wouldn't have predicted.
I probably still wouldn't predict that. No, Sunderland, yeah, absolutely. Leeds, for me, bit 50-50 still. I think they'll definitely be in a bit of a scrap. I think could stay up by a couple of points.
They just look, I don't know what it is, but like Leeds at home, it pains me to say this. It pains me to say this as a Barnsley fan about Leeds. But Leeds at home are a special team. And I think when you see them at Ellen Road, like the fans are very, very good. And every single game, their 18 matches that they have at Ellen Road this season, nobody's going to come out of there with an easy game. Like, no one's going to Leeds and winning 5-0. Like, it's not going to happen. So, and I think the same with Sunderland. The one thing as well that people forget about, which I always think about, Sunderland is in the middle of nowhere. The only place close to Sunderland is Newcastle. If you're Brighton or any London team or anyone like probably past Manchester going south, that is a trek to get to Sunderland. Like a serious trek. So I don't see anyone going to Sunderland and getting an easy game either. And I think home form will keep you in the Premier League. Back to Manchester City. I know you're going to enjoy this case. We've got two quick fire segments left. The first, and I don't know where the producer has come up with City icons, because I don't know, you get history for the last 15 years, but
okay.
We've got City icon or hero. I'm going to give you 5 players who have played for Manchester City, maybe had their best years at Manchester City, and I want you to tell me, should they be an icon or a hero? We're going to start with a right back, an Argentine, Pablo Zabaleta. Icon or hero?
Zabaleta, love him, fantastic for the club. I'm going to go hero for him, though. I think that you're going to name some other people that definitely deserve icon status, but he at least deserves hero.
Screams hero, Matt.
Yeah, it screams. I don't want to get him out of my pre-order hero, to be honest with you. No offence, Pablo.
An 82 pace Pablo Zabaleta at right back. You're not in for that, though.
I'm not quite. That feels like it could go into the League and Nation hybrid SBC with relative ease. I'm sorry.
In November.
In November. In September, mate.
In September.
No. But yeah. Low level hero.
Up next, David Silva.
Icon. For me, that one's easy. He's one of the greatest players that we've ever had at the club. I don't think anyone has stepped into that role and had the aura that he's had, so I could see him getting an icon.
Matt?
I'd agree with that. Lower level icon can't be Xavi and Iniesta level.
Who just one name? Who was better in their prime? Who's done more for Man City? David Silva or Bernardo Silva?
For me, it's David Silva. Love Bernardo, but for me, it's David Silva.
I think David Silva was like, for a long time, he was the focal point, wasn't he? Like, I think Bernardo could have been that, but he's always overshadowed by De Bruyne's, Aguero's.
Yaya's.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly.
Okay. Up next, another part of that focal point, and that spine of the team, Fernandinho.
Oof. Fernandinho, again, see, you're just naming players that like they're cult heroes of the club. Don't think he's quite icon status, so I'll go hero.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Ramirez for Chelsea, hero status, bit of an ultimate team legend. Would Fernandinho fit that ultimate team legend hero status?
Probably not.
It'd be more on the real world merit, I guess.
I mean, what did he win? 5 Premier Leagues? 4 Premier Leagues?
I believe
He was there for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think, accolade-wise, I think he achieves it. A player who certainly achieves it, Sergio Aguero, and I want a rating of his icon.
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, I think as a City fan, we've been waiting a long time to get that item. And so we're kind of we're seeing some of these other players retire and then instantly get icon status. And so I think that for me, it's a no-brainer. I think he deserves to be an icon. He's one of the best Prem strikers of all time. And so for rating, I'll give him 89.
Okay. Fair, Matt?
I think so. I was thinking sort of, Carlos Tevez, 88 Argentine striker, definitely higher than that. But would you put him? Is he Henry level for Premier League? Probably a little bit lower. So 89, 90 sounds about right.
Drogba level?
Yeah,
I think that's fair to say.
That's fair. Yeah.
What was Aguero's highest ever rated item? Like, I don't think he ever got to an 89.
I think it was 88.
No, I think he did one year.
Did he? I actually can't remember. I know he was up there. He was never like the highest rated player. Like, he was never like a top 5 discussion because during his prime we had Ronaldo, Messi dominating still. But I think he was right. Probably 88, 89.
In FIFA 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, he had 89 rated cards.
Really?
There you go.
Maybe because I can't afford him. Just put into the back of my mind. All I remember is he's Player of the Month. He got Player of the Month one year, and he was outstanding. I think he got 2 actually.
From FIFA 12 to FIFA 22, he had no lower than an 87.
That's impressive, really, isn't it? So on that regard, he should probably be like 90 rated.
Yeah.
Really, because if you're taking the median of it, and then you're saying what was he at his prime, yeah, he's probably 90, 91. He probably is like. He probably. What's Alan Shearer? Rating wise, 89.
I think so, yeah.
Which I think is probably a little too low, personally. But I think Aguero's right up there. Finally, maybe the highest rated icon out of this selection, Kevin De Bruyne.
I'm still grieving the loss of him going to Napoli. Also because there was a potential that he would go to my local at Chicago Fire, and that didn't happen. So I'm a little bit hurt by this already, but I do think he deserves the icon status. I think, though, if him and Sergio Aguero were to both get icons, I still think that Sergio will be higher rated. But I think that Kev does deserve icon status. And since we've upped Sergio Aguero's number, I would give Kev 89.
Oh, I think that's harsh.
You think?
I'm going in 92.
Yeah, I was going to say 90, 91 at least. I think it's tricky for Prem strikers because you're always compared to Thierry Henry, aren't you? For midfielders, it's a little bit more open, I guess. Like KDB is very much in that, best Premier League midfielder.
Well, I think that's my point of that's my thought. If, in my opinion, he's the best number 10 or number 8 the Premier League's seen, just from my personal perspective. So in that regard, he has to be better than everybody else in the Premier League from a ratings wise. Zidane comes in at 94, if I'm not mistaken, typically on a rating. I think De Bruyne is probably a couple of ratings lower than that. So that's where I'm landing, like 90, 91, 92.
You'd put him 3 or 4 ratings higher than like a Stevie G, Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard.
I think those players are also underrated.
Yeah.
I think they should be brought up.
That's fair.
Like, I think Gerrard is probably... Gerrard's prime icon, when we used to have the 3 version, was 91. I remember. I think Gerrard should probably be like 90, 91. and then De Bruyne would be 92.
Makes sense.
That's where I'm going. Let us know if you disagree in the comments down below. I'm sure there's a lot of Man United fans saying Pablo Zabaleta deserves to be nowhere near if Gary Neville doesn't have an icon or a hero item yet. Last but not least, maybe the most controversial topic, City ratings for FC26. Phil Foden. What's his rating going to be?
Phil, so last year he was 88?
Yep.
I do think he gets a decrease. I don't think it should be massive, so I'm going to go 86. I think he should still be a walkout. That's my opinion.
Agree, Matt?
Yeah. 86, okay. 87. Sounds about right.
Easy. Reinders.
Ooh, what was he? 82 last year. I think he gets 82. An upgrade. Give him 84.
I think 84 or 85. I think you give him a nice upgrade.
Yeah. I think it depends for me on, like, I don't know, I'd compare him to, like, Gravenberch kind of rating-ish.
Yeah.
85, 86, pushing it for a walkout.
Well, maybe what was McAllister? McAllister a walkout this year. He was 86. Yeah. So yeah. I think probably 84, 85, I think, for me personally. Marmouche.
Ooh. He was 79 last year. I think he definitely gets a little bit of an upgrade. Maybe give him 82, 83. Is that too high?
I think that's okay, but with great stats. I think he would be one of those 83s that's got like 88 pace, 83 shooting, 87 dribbling, or something like that. Like a really nice, good item.
Yeah, I think so.
Oscar Bob.
That's a tough one. We don't see too much from him last year, but again, now he's starting because that position is open. I'm actually a big Oscar Bob fan. I'm gonna give him 82. I'm gonna go 82.
Oof. That's a big upgrade, no?
I know. I'm actually a really big Oscar Bob fan. I really am.
I can't see him getting a plus 10, Matt. Surely.
Yeah. Definitely a gold. Let's
78.
Go with that. Yeah.
78, 79.
79.
Yeah, I think that's more reasonable.
He's starting for the club, guys. Come on.
Yeah, but he's only started 2 games.
All right. Well, there's only been 2 games.
And Erling Haaland, just no decrease, probably.
I think he stays the same. 91.
91. He'd be up there. Tied highest rated player in the game, Matt, for you?
Yeah, for me, the highest rated player in the game, it depends too much on everyone else. Mbappe, Vinny, Salah, etc. So I think I wouldn't put him above them, and I don't think all of those will be 91. So I'd probably bring him down to a 90. Probably have 7 or 8 90
rated players.
Yeah, it'd be quite a lot this year, I think.
And last but not least, get your tissues out. He's not at Man City anymore, but Kevin De Bruyne. He's left City. Do we see him getting a big decrease now he's gone to Napoli?
I don't think it's too much of a decrease. I think that Kev will be 88.
I think he's going to get absolutely hammered, I'll be honest.
You think?
Yeah. I
think
he'll go down to like 87, 86.
I think 87 is the absolute lowest.
He didn't play really though, did he, last year?
Is he going to put
He was
Bruno
injured.
above him, Rich?
Absolutely.
There's no way.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, last week we put Bruno at 89. So I think
let's not say we. That was very much you put Bruno at 89.
No, Nep also said he's got
this.
40 goal contributions and he should get an upgrade.
Okay.
And I said, yeah, 89. Yeah.
KDB 88.
Let us know down below. What's your thoughts? Kevin De Bruyne, 87, 86, 85, 88, 89, or does he not deserve a decrease at all? I can tell you that that midfield two of De Bruyne and McTominay is going to hit different. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get it going. FC26 is very, very close. Case, thank you so much for joining us. I know it is very, very late. Where can people find you as we build up to FC26 if they want to come and check out your content?
Yeah, all my channels are CHI_KACEE. I'm on all the main channels, stream on Twitch. But thanks for having me. This was fantastic. Super excited about FC26. And yeah, we'll be streaming it soon.
Yeah, can't wait. Me and Matt will be back next week, as we always are. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments down below who you want to see featured on next week's FUTBIN pod. Take care, and we'll see you next week.